Welcome to DMV Spotlight on ESPN 630, the sports capital, where we shine a light on local stories from the District, Maryland, and Virginia to inform, enlighten, and inspire you. I'm Barbara Britt. Well, when you're seriously ill, the very last thing you want to worry about is fixing food. But nourishment is a critical component to getting well, and that's what Food and Friends is all about. And my guest this morning is Carrie Stoltzfus. She is the executive director of Food and Friends, and she's been with Food and Friends for really a long time, haven't you?
I have. I've actually been with Food and Friends for 16 years now, but I've been the executive director for a year.
Well, you obviously enjoy it, and you obviously do a good job, and I'm just delighted that you're here today. By the way, Carrie has her master's in public health from Johns Hopkins, so I just want to thank you so much for being here today. So tell us about Food and Friends. If folks haven't lived in the D.C. area, they may be familiar, but if they're new to the area, they may not be familiar with Food and Friends.
Absolutely. Food and Friends is a wonderful program. We were founded in the 80s, initially to take care of the AIDS community. And we were delivering meals to people who were often wasting away and passing away in a matter of weeks or months. Over the years, we have continued to expand our services to take care of people with other illnesses, including any type of cancer, diabetes, heart failure, kidney failure, really anything that you can think of that has an effect on your nutrition and your ability to prepare food on your own.
You know, it's interesting because nutrition is one of those things that is, I would say, relatively new when it comes to healing and understanding what an important role that it does play. Kind of in the olden days, as we say, nobody even gave it a thought. You know, when you are on chemo or taking some of these really heavy duty drugs, you lose your appetite, you have the metal taste in your mouth, you don't want to eat, nothing smells good, cooking makes you
absolutely
feel nauseous. So tell us how the focus came to be on the food, on the nutrition.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, in the early days, we were trying to take care of people in their home. Oftentimes they were cut off for family and friendship networks. And now, we really just want to help people be at home with their families where they want to be. And by providing medically tailored nutrition to the sick person and to their family, to the whole household, we're helping people take care of their loved ones, we're helping people manage their illness at home, and we're helping them manage symptoms and side effects and things like that and just better manage their illness overall.
That's huge, to medically tailor food. How do you do that? That's got to be nervous making, at least for you as the executive director.
Yeah, well, fortunately, it's not my area of expertise, but we have wonderful registered dietitians who work with our professional chefs to develop 11 different meal plans that we have at Food and Friends, and clients are able to combine up to 3 of those. So we really are able to individually tailor each person's meal plan to whatever stage of whatever illness they happen to be at.
That is amazing, because I didn't know. I've just learned recently there are if you have at least certain kinds of cancers, you cannot have fresh thing. You would think, fresh would be great. You can't because of the treatment that you're getting in certain stem cell treatments and what have you. So that's just a new worry. And then, of course, you have a whole host of people who have sensitivities anyway to food, or that we're more aware of. How do you deal with that aspect?
Yeah, there's a lot of complications and complexities when you're dealing with a serious diagnosis. For our clients, they are each paired with one of those registered dietitians, so they have a partner throughout the time that they're with us who's able to talk with them about what they should be eating, and then we can continue to tweak what we're sending them.
And how important is that for someone, say, with diabetes, who all of a sudden now are looking at food in a very different way?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a disease where the self-management is largely through nutrition, and we're able to help those folks manage their illness.
That is amazing. Now, how do you get connected with the clients, the people that you serve in the community?
That's a great question. So this is a medically based service. All of our clients are referred to us most often by their doctor, by their healthcare provider, and sometimes through their health plan. We work with a few Medicaid managed care organizations that will also refer to us. But our eligibility is health-based, it's medical, it's not income-based. We cover the whole metro area, so folks all come to us through their healthcare provider.
So if people are listening going, oh, golly, I think we make too much money to qualify, that's not necessarily the case.
It's not. The majority of people who accept our services are very low income, and oftentimes were struggling before they started Food and Friends. But we really want to be there for someone with a serious illness, regardless of how well they were doing before they got sick. We've all heard stories about people who have healthcare costs, can no longer work, lose their homes. And so basically, if you can't stand at the stove to cook and you're struggling to get by, we want to be there for you.
And how important is this to, say, somebody who may be living by themselves, someone who they are the only one taking care of them, for Food and Friends to come in? Is there that aspect as well? Do they come and pick food up, or does it get brought to them?
We bring it to each home. And you're exactly right. We're called Food and Friends for a reason. We have both volunteer drivers and staff drivers who will bring the meals to each person. And a lot of our clients do say that we're the only person that they see on a given day. And so just those relationships that are built over time is a really important part of the service that we provide.
That takes us right to your volunteers. I would imagine that there is a lot of, first of all, people who have huge hearts, but also some training that would be necessary to go into that kind of a situation where someone is critically ill and you are the one person who sees them on a regular basis. Tell us about how that works, what that process is.
Yeah, absolutely. We make it very easy for volunteers to sign up with us. We have new volunteer orientations twice a month. We make it very easy for corporate groups and church groups and civic groups to come and volunteer with us as a group, and we provide really good training. So for the kitchen volunteers, we provide food safety training, which is important because so many of our clients are living with compromised immune systems. And for the delivery drivers, we train folks, for example, on what to look out for, so that you can tell if someone is starting to struggle a little bit more, and maybe Food and Friends could refer them to another service that they might need, or a case manager, or, transportation, someone to help them clean, something like that. So we train volunteers on what to look out for so they can help us, be the best resource to each of those clients.
That is amazing. Have your delivery folks ever come back to you and said, wow, this person really made an impact on me, or I was really concerned about this person? Has there ever been that personal?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we hear stories about that all the time. We had a volunteer who for example, she was concerned about someone that she'd been delivering to for a while, and she saw her starting to struggle more, and we were able to reach out to that client and to their family and to their case manager, and actually within a number of days they went into inpatient care because that was really what they needed at that time. But that volunteer was the person who, took care of that woman by letting us know, and we were able to get her into better care.
That is amazing. Have you had people that you have helped, Carrie, over the years who maybe have gotten better and they've come back and said, wow, it was really the meals that really made a difference?
Oh, absolutely. Those are my favorite stories to hear. We do see many clients who decline, who go into the hospital, who pass away, and that's always sad no matter how many times it happens. But it's also great to be able to be part of someone's story of their path towards greater stability. And we love hearing from those clients or from, their family members later on that, we were the difference that, helped them keep it all together and get them to a point where they're in better health.
That is amazing. And I would think that even for the clients who are critically ill and do pass away, that that the time that you had was well invested, that it was as comfortable as possible. What kind of meals are they choosing? Are they choosing breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Are they choosing just dinner once a week? What are we talking about?
Yeah, so we provide up to 18 meals a week. So basically breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 6 days a week is the full service for Food and Friends. And so we have 2 different meal delivery mechanisms. People can either choose entirely prepared meals if that's what they need, and then it's just heat and eat, very easy. Or for a lot of our folks who live further away, or if they happen to have a caregiver who can help them prepare the meals, we also have a grocery program where we'll come every other week. It's still 18 meals a week, but it's medically tailored groceries. And then we also give them some frozen meals for the days when they're not feeling up to cooking.
That is amazing. Now, have you made partnerships in the community to help with that donation process? Or is this all monies that you collect or get given as part of fundraising that you go and purchase the food, or is it a combination?
It's a combination. Primarily, we purchase the food. We want to control the food production process from beginning to end, again, because we're dealing with people who are very sick. We do receive some food donations around the holidays, and there's information available on our website, which is foodandfriends.org, for folks who want to do a food drive for us. But primarily, we're purchasing at wholesale, and our chefs are cooking it all from scratch.
That is wonderful. So you mentioned that people really can tailor a way to help, which is really awesome. It is the holidays. A lot of people are feeling very blessed and like, wow, I'm doing well. I got a lot, or I've had a hard year, but I still want to give back. You really do offer different ways for people to come in and help. Folks can come in and get in the kitchen and roll up their sleeves and wear their gloves and put on their hairnet and get busy. But tell us what it's like when volunteers first come in and do that.
Absolutely. So I was talking a little bit about the training that we offer to volunteers. So if you're signing up as an individual and you want to come again and again over time, maybe once a week, every other week, once a month, we have 2 new volunteer orientations every month. You can sign up for those on our website, and then you come in, you get a tour, you learn all about the options that we have for volunteering in the kitchen, volunteering out on the road to deliver meals. And then if you want to bring, your office, your church, a group that you're involved in to Food and Friends, you can sign up on a one-time basis, and we'll give you that training right before you get started.
That is fantastic. And you're talking about 3 or 4 hours in the kitchen, and there's different start times, so they really try to make it as flexible as possible for people.
We do. So we're open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. We have morning, afternoon, and evening shifts. The deliveries tend to happen in the middle of the day, so you're not out on the road during rush hour.
Good thinking.
But we make it as easy as possible for folks to get involved with us because we rely really heavily on our volunteers. This is a very volunteer, community-driven program, and that's one of the really special things about it, is that this really is about bringing people together to help out their neighbors.
And Carrie, when you and I were talking before we went on the air, I honestly do remember when Food and Friends first came into existence. It was the worst of the AIDS crisis back in the 80s at that time, and it truly was a lifeline for people in the community. It was primarily in the district, but obviously over the years it has expanded to people who are struggling with other life critical illnesses, but also the whole geographic area that you now reach. Tell us about that and how that happened.
Yeah, as Food and Friends continued to grow and expand, we always want to respond to the need, which is why we took what we learned in those early days of the AIDS epidemic and have continued to apply that knowledge and expand our nutrition knowledge to take care of people with other illnesses. And then also geographically as well. I mean, that people move, the suburbs have grown, the pockets of where, people in need have changed over the years, and we want to be responsive to that too. Currently, in addition to delivering in D.C., we cover 7 counties in Maryland and 7 counties in Virginia, and that map is also on our website. So we really do cover the greater Washington area.
So if folks are listening today, Carrie, and again, we have that website. It's www.foodandfriends.org. And they're thinking, wow, that is really something my cousin, my sister, myself, my husband, whoever, some of my coworker could use. But you have them go through a medical professional. It's not necessarily for a family member to sign up somebody. How would they be able to access that?
Yeah, we try to help walk people through the process. So there is an opportunity on our website to answer a few questions to determine if you or the person that you're thinking of would be likely to qualify for Food and Friends, and then we point you in the right direction of where to go. It can really be any healthcare provider that has access to your health information, and if someone is not in care, they currently don't have a doctor, they're not seeing anyone, we can also give them information to help them access care to get the referral to Food and Friends.
So that really is very helpful. It is like a little quiz. It's a yes or no, yes, I qualify for this, or where can I go? Have you developed over the years relationships with some of these medical providers so that you know that they're going to be sending people to you and that they're comfortable doing that?
Absolutely. So we have relationships really with all the hospitals, the clinical networks, the hospice agencies within the metro area. And we will we can go to their staff meetings or host a webinar. So if they have new care management staff or anyone who wants to learn more about referring to Food and Friends, we can help them, be able to identify a few Food and Friends client, walk them through that referral process. So we try to make it as easy as possible for them too.
That is awesome. I'm speaking today with Carrie Stoltzfus. She is the executive director of Food and Friends, that again serves people who are seriously or critically ill across really so much of the DMV, across DC, Maryland, and Virginia. It has expanded. As you have expanded, have there been growing pains, or are you grow along the way? I mean, tell us what you've learned, because there's a lot of organizations in DC doing amazing things, and there's always that birth pain as things get larger.
Yeah, that's true for us as well. We have a 24,000 square foot building, which sounds like a lot, and it is. But we've been there for 15 years now, and we were a smaller organization when we moved in, so we're thinking about that. Also philanthropy is really important to us. Half of our budget is through philanthropy, and you've got to keep talking about Food and Friends and making sure that people know what we're doing and why it's important. And, the meals are free to the clients. So, maintaining all of those community relationships and those supporters is important to us as well, but also part of that growing process.
And let's talk about that, because you all do some really fun events to keep Food and Friends in mind and in the forefront. And I just have to mention this, Carrie, because we were just joking about this, but I totally missed the pie thing. I'm going to put it on my calendar for next Thanksgiving. But you can buy a pie. It helps Food and Friends. To me, that is a complete no-brainer.
Yeah, we're going to do it again next year.
Fantastic.
So you'll be able to do it.
How does it work?
Yeah, so, everybody needs pie at Thanksgiving, right?
Everybody.
We're all eating the same things. It's the one time of year where everyone in America is eating the same things, and that includes pie. So we actually partner with a bakery in Northern Virginia called Baguette Republic, and they help us make thousands of pies. This year we sold about 8,500 pies.
Bless them.
And so you go online, you choose your flavors, they're all there. We have sweet potato and pumpkin, as well as pecan and apple, everything you need for Thanksgiving. And then there are also pickup sites in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And those get picked up the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So I'm sorry you missed it, but do it next year.
We'll just put it right on the calendar. That is just easy peasy, as we like to say. But you also have other events as well. And I think probably one of your biggest is the Chef's Best Dinner and Auction. That's in the spring. There's plenty of time to lose all our holiday weight
before you eat again.
Before we eat again at Chef's Best. But this really sounds fun. What is it, and how does it work?
Yeah, it's a wonderful event, and it's such an important event for Food and Friends. We actually raise almost 10% of our annual budget on that one night. It's a great opportunity to try foods from a number of different restaurants around the area. So if you have your hot list and places that you've wanted to go but haven't been able to get to yet, Chef's Best is a great opportunity to try those restaurants out. And so they're all doing small plates, and you walk around and eat and drink and have a good time, and there's an auction, and it's all to benefit Food and Friends.
It sounds like so much fun. Now, that's going to be on June 15th. Do we know yet where it is or not?
At the Marriott Marquis, on June 15th.
That is lovely. Do people get dressed, or are we casual? They get dressed
up? It's business. Yeah, because it's right after work,
So we don't want to fuss. We just want to go and eat.
We want to have a good time.
And have fun. Some of the restaurants that are helping you, do we know quite yet?
Those are still TBD. They're coming. So some have signed up, some are coming, but there'll be more information about that in the coming months.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And as you mentioned, that's 10%. Some of the auction items in the past that have struck your fancy.
We've had a lot of really great trips primarily through Marriott. So a lot of really neat resorts in other countries. Fiji last year was a fantastic one. So there's a lot of really neat things in the auction.
That sounds fantastic. And then you also have some dining out events. What is that?
Yeah, so we're a food-based agency. I talked about the food we provide. I talked about Chef's Best, and the restaurant industry has been really supportive of Food and Friends since our early days. And actually, in that first year, before we even had a kitchen to prepare food in, restaurants were the ones donating meals to Food and Friends. So the other restaurant-based event that we do is called Dining Out for Life. That's going to be on April 2nd, so that's coming up in the spring. And a number of different restaurants, several dozen, will donate a portion of their proceeds to Food and Friends for that evening. So if you go out to dinner and choose one of those restaurants, you're automatically donating to Food and Friends. And then you also have the opportunity to give another donation if you choose to do so. So that's going to be really special also. And stay tuned and visit our website as those restaurants start to sign up also.
That is so exciting. And so you mentioned that a lot of your budget does come from people being generous and essentially just funding Food and Friends. Where do some of the other parts of the budget come from?
Yeah, so we get really great support from DC, from DC Health, from Maryland, Department of Human Services, some of the counties where we deliver a lot of meals, Fairfax, Prince George's County, Montgomery County. So a lot of really important public support. And then I also talked about the health plans that we work with. So really ill folks who are receiving Medicaid, and as part of their care package, their plans are choosing to deliver meals to them.
Now that is both fantastic, and it sounds like a lot of paperwork behind the scenes that nobody ever sees. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, we try to make it easy for the client, for the case manager, and then we're the ones, gathering a lot of data on the back end. But it is pretty complex. But we also have a lot of really great staff who work pretty hard to make sure that the service is as seamless as possible for everybody who needs us.
That's fantastic. So do you spend some of your time then going around and talking to different agencies and helping them understand what an important component nutrition is? Is everybody on board with that at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think our dietitians do a lot of work. They do cooking classes both in the community and at Food and Friends, and so that definitely is an important message. There's a lot that all of us, just as regular people going about our lives, don't know about nutrition. And so that is an important message that we try to get out in the community as much as we can.
And how does it happen when you're bringing a meal to somebody? They're not very hungry sometimes. Mm-hmm. How does the food taste, I guess, is the other question I have, because you have these various meal plans that you offer to people. Mm-hmm. Is there real concern on your part to say, well, we need to make sure that this tastes good so that people are going to eat it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We put thought into how it looks, how it tastes, the variety of foods. The dietitians think about all of those things when they are developing meal plans. And then, in their counseling work, they will also give people individual tips about something that they might be able to do to make something more palatable to them. You were talking about how you can get a metal taste in your mouth with certain medications. And so they're trained to give tips about things like that. We also will send out what we call a spice pack a few times a year to people who want to receive that. All of our food is very low sodium, and so we want to encourage people to season their meals in other ways if they're able to do that. So that's another thing that they'll do to help make the meals palatable. But they're delicious. I love them. So we put a lot of care into the food.
That's good to hear, yes, because you're going to all that trouble, and you just want to make sure that people... Are there concerns about people able to eat that? Are there soups and things that are very easy to swallow? Is that part of the component?
Yeah, definitely. So soups, we eat soup when we're sick. That's a big part of what we do, and we'll send that out a few times a week. We also have a soft meal plan and a pureed meal plan. So as long as someone's able to take food by mouth as opposed to, some type of a tube feed, we're able to accommodate those needs and combine that with our other meal plans.
That is absolutely fantastic. So when the people come and deliver the meals, are they coming more than once a week?
Yeah, up to 3 times a week. You can get meal deliveries from Food and Friends. So you might have The same driver all 3 times. You might have, 2 or 3 people who come throughout the week, but you can get up to 3 deliveries. And then each one of those is 2 days worth of food at a time for the prepared meal program.
That is amazing. So just give me a guesstimate just for the last year. I mean, we're just closing out 2019. Any idea of how many people you've served or how many meals have been distributed?
Yeah, so we delivered over 1 million meals last year. I think it was 1,065,000 if I'm correct. You can go to the website to check and make sure that I am, to about 3,700 people.
That is incredible.
Yeah. About 20% of those people are family members, so we deliver meals to caregivers and to minor dependents. So if you're a mom and you're sick and you've got kids at home, we'll feed them also. If you are, struggling to take care of a partner or a parent, and you live with them, we'll take care of you as well.
And what a relief that is, because sometimes just at the end of the day, if you're the caregiver, you're absolutely exhausted yourself. How many studies, Carrie, have we seen? The caregiver ends up becoming ill or sick because
it's a tough job.
It's a tough job, and you never get put at the top of the list because there's always somebody who is depending on you, and then therefore they often suffer. So that is absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure for, a mom or dad who has young ones at home, or even not even hungry teenagers, just to know that you don't even have to worry about that. Now, will they be on the same plan as the person who's ill? How do you manage that?
They don't have to be. So they can get our regular meal plan, which is really like a wellness diet, is most often what the family members are on. And then the ill person might be on a special diet, or our regular meal plan may be able to meet their needs as well.
So you would do that. You would do 2 types of meal plans, even just within one family.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's tremendous. That is absolutely tremendous. Have you had family members come back to you and say, wow, this was really good. I have a favorite meal.
Yeah, definitely. The family members enjoy the food also, and it really does relieve that burden. And that's oftentimes who we hear from, looking back later, they'll call in and say, you were really there for us at this important time, and it made such a difference. And those are just my favorite stories, my favorite feedback to hear, that we were just able to get a family, get an individual person through such a tough time.
Is there any dessert? I just have to ask Carrie.
Every once in a while, not as much as there was in the 80s.
In the 80s, right.
When people were wasting and not living as long. So, the nutrition science has really changed, for people
Sugar
with HIV
is not our
and,
friend.
Of course, people with other illnesses. But, we do want to think about comfort also, nutrition and comfort hand in hand. So I think once a week we'll do a dessert. Yeah.
I bet that's popular as well.
Yeah. But not every day.
Not every day. Note to
At the
self.
beginning, it was every day. Now it's once a week.
It's once a week.
Yeah.
That's good counsel for all of us. And so for folks who are listening and maybe they want to donate, what's the best way for them to do that?
Just go to our website, foodandfriends.org. There's a lot of information there about different ways that you can donate. And again, that's really important. All of these meals are free to our clients.
That is absolutely amazing. And how many volunteers did you say that you have at any given time?
We have about 8,500 volunteers a year who come through our doors, and that's counting everybody once. So the folks who come every week, that's only counting them once. It takes a lot of help to get this work done, and we appreciate it.
I'm sure, and that's amazing. And then you do have a staff as well.
We do. We have about 60 folks on staff. That's the drivers, the chefs, the dietitians, the fundraisers, the staff who manage those 8,500 volunteers, really everyone.
That is incredible. And again, the best way to locate you is through the website, www.foodandfriends.org. And just going forward into this next year, what do you think the biggest challenge for you will be?
Really just meeting the need. There's more people all the time who we are hearing about who need our service, and we want to get them started as quickly as possible. So, we want to continue to grow, and the need is there. So we need the support to be able to do that.
And you don't want to turn people away.
We do not want to turn people away, and we won't.
That is wonderful. I want to thank my guests so much today. I've been speaking with Carrie Stoltfuss. She's the executive director with Food and Friends, and she has been there, serving there, working there for over 15 years, and it provides nourishment to critically ill people in the DMV. And thank you so much for joining me today, Carrie, and for listening to DMV Spotlight on ESPN 630, the sports capital. And you can find more at www.foodandfriends.org. I'm Barbara Britt, and thanks for listening.